Oh dear. Okay. Hello, hello, hello. Don't know what's going on with my computer here. Maybe I've moved it. That's fine. Yes, indeed. Here you are. Here we all are. Hey guys. Links to your tracks if you want. If you want me to review them. Couple links. What up, guys? If you could just link the track, here, and I will open it up. And the first 10 I will listen to and feedback on. How are you guys doing? How's your weekends been? Oh, got a couple coming in here. Oh, 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 dearie me. Okay, it's Naughty Step. What up, Naughty Steppers? What up, Manic -6? Finally here, mate. Okie dokie, Mr. Andrew. Oh, okay. Blah, blah. Bear with me, folks, whilst I just get all of these links up that are coming in thick and fast. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Got 9. How is everyone doing? You good? Oh, Mr. Ian Santos just gets in there. Number 10. Okie dokie. You doing good, man? Yeah. What up, guys? I was just coming back from Birmingham, which is in the Midlands, which is literally in the middle of England, and I had a very traumatic experience. I was getting on the train, and it was like the kind of seating arrangement where you have seats here and then seats here, just directly facing opposite each other, and about halfway into the train journey back to London, which is about 2.5 hours, and unfortunately, this poor woman just vomited everywhere. I felt so sorry for her. It was just, oh, it was really bad. I felt really bad for her, and I'm still a bit shook by it, to be honest. So bear with me. She was so traumatized by it, and it was actually pretty traumatizing for everyone else, kind of sitting around. Yeah, I'm feeling a bit weird. It was just a very weird situation to be in, but here we are now. So yeah, cracking on. Yeah, it was brutal is exactly the word. It was like everyone was just minding their own business, like listening to music, reading a book, and then finally, pow, right in the kisser. It was really savage. What is this Rango business? What's Rango? Is Rango a person? Rango by Sober. It's big. It's a song, right? Okay, let's go with the first one then from Mr. Do you want me to close the door? Mom? Hang on a sec, fellas and lasses. Right, I've got my tea, my orange tea. Any Americans out there that like tea? Unfortunately, guys, I've already got 10 tracks for today, so tea's banging. Tea is banging. More of a coffee person. Fun fact, I've never had a coffee, and I plan to never have a coffee. I feel like as soon as I have one coffee, I'll just get hooked on it. I know, it's crazy, isn't it? It'll probably come to a point where I'm much older, where I will need to drink coffee, but I'm planning on never having one in my life. Just don't want to get hooked. Okay, here we go with Glitch Q Matrix. Can we just take a moment? My dad's here. Can we say what up to Papa Naughty Step? Everyone, welcome Papa Naughty Step into the chat. Mr. Ian Whitmore himself. Yeah. How you doing, Dad? You doing good? I'm sorry I couldn't call you earlier. I was on the train home, and as you know, my phone ran out of battery. So hi folks, there he is. Hi folks. You can tell that he's a British man, can't you? Hi folks. You never hear an American person saying that. All right, let's start that from the beginning out of respect. You see that, Dad? You're Bay. Mr. Joper, I'm afraid that I've got 10 tracks already. Hello, Jones. How you doing? That's my sister. I know it's you, Childish Bambino. Everyone, give a warm welcome to Sister Naughty Step, Childish Bambino. Let her know how clever that name is, of course. I'm going to start this one from the beginning, just out of respect, because I've just had a little diversion. All the family are here. Really liking this intro. Ooh. That wavy wub underneath is beautiful. Big up Slime Cinema.
The Matrix is the world that has been pulled over your eyes.
Oh, okay. I would have kept running with that, Mr. Glitch Q. I wouldn't have brought in that hyacinth. I would have hyacinth. Very funny. I wouldn't have brought that one in. I would have just kept running with that first one, because that first release was beautiful. I think pretty much everything I've heard so far with this track is very good. I think the drums are great. I think the idea is good. The synths in the drop need to be much louder and much more at the forefront of the track, so that they make much more of an impact when the drop happens. Yeah, pretty much. I think you can run with that glitchiness a little bit more. That like you could do a couple little cheeky bits in there. Yeah, I'm liking it so far. With what I said already, you know, bringing those synths, those dubstep sounds further to the front of the track would be, I think that would be very, very, very decent. Manic -6. What are you trying to say? Why are you? Why are you being? Why are you hating, fam? You haven't been on one of these live streams before, but basically, mate, I have to play it through here. Otherwise, if I play it through my speaker, then I can't. Then you can't hear what I'm saying. And also, I've got a family of 4 living downstairs. I live at the top of a block of flats, so I can't play the music too loud. Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean. That's what I mean. I like these gloomy bits as well. I think, like, a lot of the time you have the intro and the midsection being quite disjointed from the dubstep, but I think they tie together quite well here. Okay, that percussion definitely needs to be a bit cleaner in terms of where all the different bits of sound are. I would recommend looking at Show Up by Virtual Riot. I think that's kind of what you're trying to go for here. And the midsection in that track is one of the most beautiful dubstep midsections in recent time, and he just does that so well. So I would listen to that and kind of analyze that a bit and see how he does it, and then try and mimic that somewhat. See you, dubstep enthusiasts. I'll see you soon, mate. Thank you for tuning in for a brief while. You know what to do with the percussion. I think you've got that pretty. I think you've got that pretty down, to be honest. Yeah. I'm from England, my friend. I like the idea there. I like what you're trying to do, but I would cut that dip, that break in half, and I would just have that, what you've done, just chop it in half and have that brief moment of isolation, and then slam right back into the dubstep. I'm sorry, Ryan, but I've already got 10 tracks to look at for this week's. So yeah, unfortunately gonna have to wait until the next time I do it, which will be in a couple of weeks. Unfortunately, is first come, first serve, if you will. Like I'm nodding my head because like I'm vibing with this. Like, I'm feeling it. I'm enjoying it. We've got a bit of a stealthy outro here, guys. You called me Con. Oh, that's so beautiful. Lastronica, you're a legend, mate. I really like that. Yeah, Mr. Manic -6 told me that my streams were too late, so I thought, you know what, I might as well just do it a little bit earlier and go for the 9:30. So everyone can thank Mr. Manic -6 for that. This is beautiful, man. Ooh. Oh, Sister Naughty Steps, really liking the atmospheric nature of the track, Mr. Glitch Q. I hope you can appreciate that. I think the foundations are there for a very, very decent song there. Yeah, I think just a couple touches, a little bit of refinement, bringing those sounds in the drops further forward. I think you've got a very, very good track on your hands there. Yeah, I think if it is something you're working on, then I think that's great. But obviously, if that's a finished track for you, and if that is a finished track for you, you can just use what I've said, kind of going forward. And if you're starting with that, then you're onto a winner. I think everyone should give this guy a follow. I think he deserves more than what he's got. Go and hit up Glitch Q on SoundCloud. All right, track 2, Minicious with Your World is in My Claws. Great title. Hashtag tear out for all you tear out fans out there. Bloody hell. I can tell this is going to be savage already. I think those like chimey notes, I think you could have. I mean, again, I don't know if this is a track you're working on or if it's finished, but I think you can have fewer of those chimey notes and just kind of dwell on them for a little bit, because yeah, you don't want to do too much at this point in the track. You want to set a scene, and you'll do that by just lingering on those chime notes a little bit longer and adding, reverb and whatever to them, so they just kind of reverberate throughout the track at that point, because you want to create an atmosphere at that point, and not have too much going on for the kind of music that you're going for here. Hello, stranger. Apologies that I couldn't take your track, but you were the 11th or 12th today. I do apologize for that. Guess who's back? It's Random Person. Mr. DB, I have reviewed Sullivan King's last couple of EPs in monthly roundup review videos, so check those out if you want to know my thoughts on his music. It sounds like it's turning into a house track. It's got that. I thought it was going to do that, but we can have Death Step or Tear Out House. Tear House. Like that. Maybe it is, That's a very, very. I can't say I've ever heard a drop like that before in my life. it's a very interesting style you've gone for there, and I think it's kind of throwing me off because of how different it is to anything I've heard before. I'm just going to go through it a little bit more. I mean that main scratchy sound is quite it's quite overwhelming. It's quite abrasive to me. Um, I'm going to keep running with the track. I think what would be great if it's possible is just to make that sound a bit more refined, because at the moment it's just kind of coming out of nowhere and just like a wall of sound hitting you without preparing you too much, like a lot for it. Um, so yeah, if you had that, if you kept that as the basis for the drops and just made it a little bit more refined and had like little bits of percussion kind of playing off it, I think that would work really well. Like obviously the obvious person to look at here is, you know, Mastodon and Odd Profit, but I mean, yeah, just look at the way that they use percussion at all points in their drops. They're just pros at it. This is like I mean, this is proper deathly. I mean, and I can see that's what you're going for, so I think it works in that respect. But I mean, I don't know exactly what you're trying to go for. If this kind of vibe is exactly what you're trying to go for, then I think it works pretty well. I think it works pretty much. It's just it's giving you those horrific vibes. But if you know if you want it to be a bit more refined, if you want it to have a bit more kind of a little bit more mainstream appeal to make it more accessible, then yeah, you can add in those other bits of percussion, make the sounds a bit more refined, and just play about with the ideas a little bit more. And just make the kind of relationship between all of the sounds there a little bit more organic, if you feel me. I'm sipping tea, my friend. Tea. Tea for days, mate. Orange, red bush tea, my friend. I have heard of Little Texas, yeah. He's an interesting one. I can't say I've quite gotten into his stuff yet, but I mean, all that kind of, well, yeah, it's interesting. Little Texas. By the way, Manic, I'm really liking this little interlude. I think it's very moody. I think you've got some nice sounds in there. I think it's working together quite well at this part in the track. I have, I'm afraid, Luke. Oh, that was sick. That was sick. That was so good. Oh man, I really rate that bit. I'm gonna do a little. Mate, that is so decent. I think that's really clever. I really like that. I mean, if you like tear out music and you like it with a little bit of flavour, a little bit of spice, a little bit of one of these, mate, a little bit of one of them. It's one for you. I mean, it really is like savage tear out music. It is properly like if you wanna get the full like HD scratchy experience, then you're gonna get it here. It's very surreal. I'm having a very surreal moment right now. um, yeah, I do like that piano, but it does come out of nowhere a little bit for me. Having said that, I think that does add to the kind of surreality of the track overall. So it is interesting, and I think with a few more listens, when I knew that that was coming at that point in the track, then I would probably enjoy it. This is from Mr. Manicious. Good track. I think you can learn from what you've done in the second drop and kind of transfer a bit of that over to the first drop, which was a little bit it wasn't as quite as refined. But yeah, I think overall decent. Right, now we've got Audio Goblin with Warp Boink New. And this is another private track, so I assume it's being worked on, Mr. Audio Goblin. If that's the case, let me know. Here we go. Audio Goblin, Warp Boink New. I'm afraid I do. I'm afraid I do already have 10 tracks. Ham. I would change the notes here, so we're going to go back a little bit. Nah, so you're going but I would go you're recording this, Mr. Hammer. I go slightly different, but that third note that you're doing, I would change that one. It's nice though. I really like the sounds being used. I think just that one note can just be changed, No, I've got 10 already, unfortunately. Yes, that third note is just not quite sticking with me. Like the production's pretty clean and crisp, and I like the sounds being used, and it's like hitting you. It's got a nice vibrancy to it. It's that third note is just a little bit off for me. I favorited it, Luke. Gonna listen to it tomorrow. In line for tracks of the week. Yeah. I think what Jason's saying there, Mr. Pungent. some great sounds. I actually really like the kind of wacky approach of it. I think it's really cool. Very colorful, very sprightly, animated. But yeah, it does just need, it just needs more going on and just like fleshing out of all the sounds and a bit more like attention to where things are coming in and like the amount of space that's available in the drops. Or maybe it's just that maybe you would want fewer sounds, but they just need to be a bit. They need to have more of a presence in the track, so they are afforded more space. It's an interesting one. I think you could go either way. You could take stuff out and make those sounds larger, or you could put more in and make it even more kind of intricate. I think this song would be great with like a couple of breaks in it. So if you had the notes going down like like have it a bit disjointed and kind of jittery and glitchy, and that will kind of keep the attention of the listener like and keep them guessing as the track goes along. This is a work in progress to my knowledge, yeah. And this is really sweet. That is really good. That was really well done. Very clean. This just needs like a little, one more little bit of percussion, keeping it ticking over like a that, a that, and that, and that, and that, that, and that, like a clap, like a really light clap or something. Yeah, some good sounds there again, but it does just need a bit more going on. It just needs more to kind of, you know, make me want to go back to the track. And I think um, what you could do that would work, and I think is like the foundation for every great track, is kind of having memorable parts or bits that you kind of return to in a track, like a motif, and that will just put little earworms in people's minds to be like, oh, that's the bit I like, and then that'll make them want to go back to it again and again. At the moment, it's going off in a few too many directions, I think. Yeah, I mean, this would be a bit of a sub carbon release, wouldn't it? If you think about it. Oh. Okay, yeah, good. I think the introductions and the mid sections and the outro, I think they're good, but the drops just need to kind of follow suit and kind of keep that energy up and not kind of slow the track down too much. But overall, I really like some of the sounds you've got going there. Some really nice bits going on, and yeah, it's just a track that needs a little bit of work, and that's fine. That's absolutely fine. Okie dokie. Number 4, we have The Invasion by Pandemic. Oh, Ham, we got more praise from Sister Naughty. I really like the fullness and roundness of those sounds in the intro and how they were cut up so it made it energetic and playful. I completely agree. I completely agree. I actually do very much agree. That's cool. That's nice. Mr. Wally Wobble, I might do another video where I review tracks that people just want to get my opinion on, but eh, yeah, those videos are pretty. I don't know. They're, they're quite difficult to make in a way. But yeah, I'm going to move on. Pandemic, the invasion. Oops, 6.5 minutes. Blimey. Okay. Pandemic, the invasion. 24.
5.3 magnitude earthquake has struck near the pandemonium in the streets. War, genocide. WA history has claimed more casualties. And since Sunday, the weather has been disturbed by booming noise.
Aye, this is sick. I like this a lot. Very, very eerie, very spooky, very gloomy. Like I'm in a cell at the bottom of a castle, you know, locked up. Not that I've ever been in that situation or that I know what I'm talking about, but let's go with it. I would have done the quick build at that point. I would have do, but who knows? It might happen at some point. Let's wait and see. Okay, that bit I think is trying to do a little bit too much. I really like the idea though. So don't try to do too much at this point. I think you can keep it simpler. If you look at the new Marshmello Sudden Death track, that melodic bit that they've got in the first part of the build, they don't try to do too much. It's just a few simple notes. Bam, 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 bam. And it doesn't do all the little like jaggedy stuff because, you know, it just doesn't need to at that point in the track. It's keeping it simple. It's telling you what the track's about just by, you know, kind of just laying it out there and not trying to do too much at that point. And I think that's what you can do here. Just keep it simple. I think the notes are correct, but you don't need all that jaggedy stuff at this point. I think just keep it simple. Note length the same, and yeah, that's what I would say. Just keep it like yeah. I don't think it needs the jaggedy stuff. Is all I'm saying at this point. I mean, yeah, Andrew, mate, this is very much telling a story. I really like the progression of the track so far. I should have said that earlier, but yeah, I think what you've got going, like and I think the transitioning between each sequence is actually very sweet as well. So going well. I think you can carry on with that lasery synth that's in the background there that you've taken over from the previous section. I think you can run with that more. So I think you can do that again, like just how you did in the section before, but just do it. But obviously keep it where it is, because I think that's really nice. Yeah, give it to me. Yeah. Ooh. Again, that's another point where I think it could the drums could have really built at that point, and you could have had this really mighty feel going on. I think it's slightly at this point it's slightly laboured. I think it is taking a little bit too long to kind of get to the focal point, which I assume is coming. I could be wrong, but yeah, I think you can. I think you can. Unfortunately, we do live in a world whereby if someone sees the 6.5 minutes, they're unlikely to listen the whole way through. You know, people are going to skip it. So what you can do is narrow down that time by just being a bit more decisive with the kind of transitioning between these sequences, and don't try to do too much. I think you're doing a lot and it's working. I think the different themes you're kind of addressing here are great, but you can cut them all down for sure. I think just to make it more concise. Yeah, give it to me. Give it to me. That's what I would want at that point. A little break in between that, in between the dubstep, in between that section, like that. Yeah, I would put that cheeky in, because you want those little moments from from earlier in the track that you want to identify with and be like, oh yeah, fuck, I remember that bit, and that's really clever how he's brought that back into the dubstep. I think that would work well for it. In terms of the drop itself, I think the idea is good. I think the energy is on point. Just needs fleshing out. I think someone just mentioned it here, but yeah, Kill the Noise Part 1 by Kill the Noise. Just with that song, kind of look at how the sounds are just fleshed out, really meaty and grungy, and there's lots going on. So yeah, definitely look at that track. Some really nice sounds here. This is pretty creepy. Mr. Mahia. Yeah, I think at this point you can do the kind of jaggedy stuff if you incorporate what I said earlier with the first time you do this, and kind of having the notes drawn out and not having the jaggedy stuff. I think that would be a good progression at that point to have that done. Just gonna wind on slightly. Yeah, again, exactly the same thing again with the dubstep for the second drop. Just flesh it out, make it meatier, more sounds going on, just more taking the attention of the listener basically, and just fleshing it out. Oh, nice outro. Yeah, decent. That's good. I think if if you're a writer, right? It's me when I started writing about 10 years ago. I used to write a football blog. Actually, well, I'd have to call it a soccer blog to you lot. Weirdly enough, but yeah, when I started out writing, I was using way too many words, all completely superfluous stuff, and when it was being edited by other people and they were telling me how to improve, it was just that I was using too many words. And I think I can kind of translate that understanding here, is that I think you do have a little bit too many things going on, and they're all good things, but I think you can be a bit more decisive with what you're including here. You don't want it to be too long, but I think again the foundation is there for a very, very decent track. All right, moving on. Phoenix with Sudden Source Suck. Okay, 2-minute track. Let's go. Very deftly, very earthy, and I think that's what you're going for here. So what I would do is just make, if you can, just make these sounds much larger so that the impact of the drop is felt more. Just before the drop, I think you could have a little bit of a yeah. So just have a little dip into the dubstep so that it's not just build, 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 because then it's just too that there's no kind of contrast between the build and the drop, and that's what makes it sound proper saucy. So yeah, if you just had a tiny little break, if it was percussion or like a sample or something, then you would feel the impact of that dubstep much more. I really like those little ha ha in the background. They're sick. They're really nice. This is called Sudden Source suck, but with V's instead of U's.
Switch it up.
Oh, you see, here we have it where I like the break for that second drop, but I don't like the dubstep as much. I don't think it hits as hard. I'm gonna say. Yeah, those screechy sounds are a tad off for me. I'm gonna have to say. It's not quite as forceful. It's not moving me as much as the first one. Yeah, I mean, just what I've said, really. And that's like a few seconds from that one finishing up. So, yeah, I think good idea in place there, and a lot that can be worked on with it. So, if you are planning on keeping up the work on that one, or if it's just like a rough idea you have, then yeah, just I think go with your instinct on it. That's what I would say. Next, we have Manix with Acid Rocker. Interesting track name. I like that. Let's go. Manix, Acid Rocker. People calling me Con now. I love that shit. You can keep doing that. I like people calling me Con. That's very endearing. I take that right here, guys. I love that. Hang on a second. Hang on a second. This track is on an account with 2,500 followers. LA90 Music. I think I've heard of. Is this a label? If it is a label, I'm pretty sure I've heard of it before. Yeah, I recognize the logo. Okay, so we're talking about some pretty big fish here, boy. Something slightly uneasy feeling about that intro, but I think it works. Yeah. These are some really nice sounds going on here. Very detailed, very alive, fresh. Really setting a nice atmosphere here, I think. I can feel the vibe. It's kind of washing over me, and I like that about it a lot. Mr. Big, that's my mug, boy. Couldn't have it any other way. Oh, hello, darling. Hello, ya. Hello, ya. That was decent. Initially, I wasn't that on it. I wasn't massively on it. Those like stretched out, whoa, but then the way it picked up, oh my days! Like, but fucking yeah, man, fuck yeah. Oh, do you know what this reminds me of? Which track is it from German Engineering? Yeah, it's Show Up. You know, the second drop, but it goes. Oh, fucking hell. Choo. Yeah, I think that there is something unfortunately slightly messy to me about those drawn out wubs. I think they could be a little cleaner. And yeah, I would look at Show Up Again by Virtual Riot, that second drop, as a reference point. Oh wait, am I lagging? What's going on? Can you guys hear me? Am I in time? Let me know when I'm back in the room. Fine now? You're good now? Okay, I apologise for that. I really like that kind of dipping, like really works. See ya, Ham. Nice having you. Thanks for bringing the track in. Just gonna wind on a tiny bit here. Got a pain in my lower back. Oh my days. Oh. Okay, I can't yeah, exactly. I can't actually mention it. I can't say, but yeah. What Manic Minor 6 just said in the corner of my room, it's a bit of a fatty. And he's just having a great time. I mean, he's been there for a while, like a few months, but he's properly like making a home now. It's like, holy shit balls. Fuck. Okay. No, we don't kill creatures here. Not in these ends. We don't kill anything, my friend. Live and let live.
Acid dropper.
Them little. Oh, I'm gonna have to. I think that could have been run with a little bit more, but to be fair, I'm just happy it's there. Nice. I personally, I really liked that short snippet you had of that kind of orchestral, oriental kind of instrumentation. I would have interwoven that right into the dubstep at this point and had them have like a really nice outro, picturesque, flowery. That's what I would have done personally, but I think there's a lot going for this track. Also would have just run with particular bits for a little bit longer and not had so much going on, like so many different ideas. But yeah, decent track. Very good track. Yeah, little bits where I would have tidied up personally. Really liking this moody outro as well. I think it fits in with the context of the track. But yeah, that's decent. Really like that. Some real good wubs in there, boy. Okay. No, I couldn't. Thank you, Manix, for the music. I'll drop you a follow, my friend. That was lovely. Hang on. Manix. Oh my bloody. Manix. Manix. Follow. So yeah. Okie dokie. Next up, we have Stay Dead with a remix of Drive by Akira. Cool. Really like that TikToking. This is good. If this is what I think is going to be, then I'm very excited. But so far, I'm really liking this build. It's very decent. That kick needs to be a little bit cleaner. It's a little bit abrasive, but good. Everything else. Okay, it wasn't quite what I was expecting, but yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure this drop works following that introduction. It's good. I was expecting like a nasty, jackknife kind of drop there. Yeah, for me, it just doesn't fit. It just doesn't really align with everything else that's happened in the track so far. It's true, it has got a little bit of a peekaboo vibe to it. It's got that tense feeling, but yeah, it just needs a bit more clarity and kind of alignment with everything else that's happening here. Yeah, the screech sounds are just a tiny bit overwhelming, I would say. Like a Sophocles, she quit with the leg in no robbery. She smell like the lean on my Robert G. She just put the lean on my Robert G. Smoking that goody goodies, living that life in the cookies. Bitch, I got the just like Butler. Bitch, I got ticket to see me come look. Snakes on my girl like a rented up. This is the plug and I know what he cooking. Bitches and love me, the home is stuck. In case you know niggas, I just gotta do it. Hold it. Yeah, no, I'm sorry. I can't. I'm not really. I can't say I'm tapping into this track as an idea. I think the intro and the second build as well. I think they're really good. I think they're clean. They've got the percussion there. They've got the vocal. It all plays alongside each other quite well. But yeah, I'm just not sure. I'm not sure about these drops, I'm afraid. Would have to tie into the overall concept of the track quite a bit more for me. Okay, 3 more to go. Next we have Ninetales with Starwick. Nice glistening feel here. I'm liking this a bit. Very ethereal, very dreamy. Oh, by the way, has anyone here watched my video from yesterday? I'm about to look at the comments after I finish this live stream and reply to all the comments, but just let me know quickly what you made of that topic, generally, the headbanging one. And if you haven't watched the video, then go watch it. It's an interesting topic. Oh, Laztronica, you will love it, mate. I'm expecting a big comment from you. This is really nice. I'm getting kind of Gemini, Seven Lions kind of vibes. Indeed, Pokemon gang. Love it. Give it to me. Not quite for me. I would have just started with a bam, bam, like an explosion of sound. Bam. Yeah, I needed it. I needed that hit at that point. Decent drops. Yeah, I think they could be more of like a all-encompassing kind of wavy, voluptuous feel to the dubstep, kind of like subsuming you like a Woolly is really good at that. I would check out Lucy in the Sky by Woolly. This is who's this? This is Ninetales with Starwick, but it's a private track, so I'm not sure you'll be able to get it. But it could be up in another format. Yeah, pretty. But yeah, you can make those drops much more kind of wubtastic. Swallow. I want it to swallow me whole. Nice. That was a nice little transition. I would put in a little bit of a little cymbal, little hi-hat maybe. Much prefer that second drop. I don't know why. I think I prefer the transition into it. Very well, definitely smoother than the first for me. Yeah, smoother for sure. Yeah, I mean, this is just very pure, genuine to the point, melodic dubstep vibes. I'm enjoying it. And this is quite an easy one, you know, to kind of evaluate and review, because I can just say, listen to as much Gemini and Seven Lions as you can, and just learn and learn and learn and listen again and again to their EPs and all their music, because you'll just hear all of the little nuances and kind of intricacies that they've got in their art, and you will learn and learn, and it will make your music better for it, I guarantee. Right, number 9, Twin Flame Tephra Remix version 4. Here we go. Really liking this holy opening. Take me to church. Unfortunately here, I don't know what the original sounds like, unless I'm being stupid, but I assume it's a not too well-known track, because I'm not sure I know of any track with the name Twin Flame, but I could be having a bit of a mind blank. But if I knew what the original sounded like, then I would know, I would be able to give more of a kind of reflection on that, on the original, and how this develops that original. But unfortunately, I don't. Okay, cool. Well, yeah, I'll just go into it as a standard track then.
I'll say I'm sorry if I need to, but I don't need you to dramatize all of the wrongs or rights. All these careless fights never compromise.
Really interesting vocal, actually. Yeah, I like the kind of vulnerability of it. It's nice. Kind of hopeful, but also reflective and melancholic at the same time, which is nice.
Find a strength, but you're my weakness. So hard to fight this. Justified for your hurt at night. So baby, turn off these lights. I don't wanna keep on hurting, but this game of love's so hard. It's a war that we keep on fighting, and it's here you go realize I'm not saying, oh, we're gonna be
I personally, I don't know what's coming in the drop or anything like that, but I would have had a like a what producer am I thinking of? Not sure off the top of my head, but yeah, just more of like a heavy, like bombastic kind of dubstep intro kind of beat, more than like a clean, more it's not trap orientated, but it's more along those lines. I'm just imagining it with this really like echoey, massive dubstep beat, and I think that would kind of fit with that vocal really well. Oh, clean, like that. That was snappy. I would say that drop kind of comes out of nowhere. The kind of mix down into it wasn't. You can hear how it's just a tiny bit abrasive, like dipping into that drop. Sounds are good. Yeah, I like the sounds being used, but it's kind of like it's just a bit too much of a disparity between the build and the drop when it comes in. Yeah, just I think it just needs a bit more oomph or something underneath it to really like propel it forward or give it much more like energy and life, because I think it runs the risk of just petering out a little bit, and those dubstep sounds are just not quite at the forefront enough. You want it to be like a buffa wab, like with the idea you're trying to like buffa wab, like really like hitting me in the face with like a wall of sound. I like this, kind of got like a Nightmare Before Christmas kind of vibe, if you've seen that film.
Just to cause harm, you ripped your heart from me, even threw it back at me. Blurry lines are all I see. You said you hate it when you miss me. Go on, kiss me. Go back to time and place of what you can't erase. Chasing after what we break.
I like this vocal. I do like this vocal.
Don't want this to keep on fading. Try to clean up the mess we made, but my heart just keeps on breaking. It's getting hard for you.
I like that overlapping of vocals as well. I don't know if that's something that's in the original track or something you've done, but I think it's pretty clever. It's nice. Again, this is where I would change that percussive structure. I wouldn't. What you've got now for me is just a bit too kind of passive. It's not like alive enough. It's not lending energy to the track. It needs more of like a like really like Chime does it. Who else? It's just like I can't think of producers off my head, but if I remember, Jason, I'll send them your way. Yeah, again, it's similar to the first drop. The mix down into it. What's going on? Yeah, I mean, you wouldn't end the dubstep where you've ended it there. I think you'd carry it on for a bit. Yeah, I think just work on mainly work on the mix downs into the drops, and just give it like just go crazy with like the volume on those sounds and really bring them to the front of the track so that they're grabbing the attention. At the moment, it dips into them, and they're just like it seems as if they're lower than everything else that's come before it. All right, cool. Yeah, I mean, what I've said already, all good. And the final track, Mr. Ian Santos. He's been waiting all this time. Thank you for waiting, my friend. Ian Santos. Hashtag is electric dubstep. Very interesting. So here we go.
live to create leftist here.
Well, that little rise and drums, they were really good, leading into what I assume is about to be the first drop.
Meme, that was epic.
Right, I really like that sound. I like that. I like that. I think you can just explode into like a rhythm drop with that, like a proper really make it emphatic, like make sure that and have that sound just in there, like laced throughout it. You get the full force of the beat, but you also get the full force of that yoy sound because of the beat. And like at the moment, I just think at the moment, just trying to do a few too many things, in my opinion.
Good me.
Yeah, for me, yeah, you just got to keep it simple, not try to do too much. It's the absolute number one thing. Simplicity is very key when it comes to electronic music, and I would say almost particularly particularly with dubstep. You've just got to keep it simple because the sounds are just, they're so huge that you just don't want too much going on, otherwise it will become too much as a kind of auditory experience.
Okay, this is epic. I like this one. This one is very good.
Yeah, I just think you benefit from making it much more simple. That'll just be easier to sell that way. I like the sounds. The sounds are good. Those yoys, those robotic yoys are nice. But yeah, just, when it comes to the drops, make the idea much more simple. Don't have too much going on.
Know what's going on? Wing destroyed.
That was funny. I like that.
Okay, this is epic.
Yeah, Ian, mate, I'm gonna end up saying the exact same thing. It's just about having that simple idea.
I like this one. This one is very good.
Yeah. Okay, I would personally. I would end it on that note. So it goes wah, 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 and it kind of like fades off into the distance. I wouldn't have the bits that come after that. I think that'd be a really sweet way to kind of end the track. But yeah, simplicity, run with an idea, make an idea, run with it, have bits of repetition to make the listener want to come back to it when they identify those moments, having listened to it a few times. And yeah, just trust trust your kind of ability to make an idea and just have it have its solid presence in the track, and just don't try to do too much is my main points for this one. And so yeah, that's 10 tracks, guys. Thank you very much. Thank you, Ian, much appreciated for you sending that one in. And yeah, that's another Dad's going in with the analysis, you know. I don't get it from no one. Well, thank you guys for tuning in. I could do it every Sunday, but the thing is, some Sundays I'm not in London, or I'm just not, you know, and I think I'm not about, and I just think, you know, what was I going to say? I think that people, you kind of run the risk of doing it too much if you do it every week. But I do agree, it's fun. It is a lot of fun, and I love having you guys send these tracks in, and I enjoy doing it very much. But yeah, for now it will be just every other Sunday. Saturation, yeah, I suppose you could call it that. But yeah, again, guys, thank you very much for sending your tracks in. It's been real, it's been fun, and I shall see you all on Tuesday for my next video, which will be a track review, and I can assure you that you probably know which track it's going to be. It's coming out tomorrow. It's a big one. And Tuesday reviewing the tunes, of course. Con came up with calling Con, of course, yeah. Con, but we'll give it to Laztronica as someone who didn't know that. Laztronica is the Con originator. But yeah, lovely doing this with all of you again, and doing this again in a couple of weeks, of course. Thank you all for tuning in very much. Had a big one, and I shall see you in this week's videos. Much love, all of you legends, naughty steppers.